Overnight, every human on the planet shrinks 100 times in size, and 90% of us won't survive the first 24 hours. If you stand 1.7 meters tall, you'll shrink down to just 1.7 centimeters, smaller than a standard paperclip. The bed you sleep in becomes a 100-meter cliff. A single glass of water turns into a deep lake that can drown you. The tiny bugs you once squashed without a second thought become apex predators that can hunt you down with ease. The cities and civilization we built over thousands of years instantly transform into a giant death maze trapping you inside. Hey, welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to walk through this insane transformation step by step along a timeline to find out what ultimate fate awaits humanity after we shrink down to size. The very second the shrinkage hits, your entire world comes crashing down in an instant. If you're fast asleep in bed, you'll slide down the slope of your pillow straight into the fiber gaps of your sheets, like falling into a bottomless cotton canyon. The soft bed sheets become a giant cage that can suffocate you alive. If you're behind the wheel of a car, the steering wheel instantly becomes a giant disc you can't wrap both arms around. Your feet can no longer reach the brake or the gas pedal, and the multi-ton vehicle turns into an out-of-control steel behemoth, careening wildly down the road. If you're holding a glass of water to drink, the water inside becomes a lake that can flood you in an instant. One wrong move and you'll be swept away by the current and drown. The clothes on your body turn into an overwhelming wall of fabric, trapping you tight. Your phone becomes a boulder you can't possibly move, and you can't even unlock the screen to call for help. And the spiders and ants hiding in the corners of your walls? They're now deadly predators that can end your life at any moment. Over 90% of the global human population will die in those first 24 hours, from falls, drowning, crushing, or being hunted down by insects. If you somehow survive the instant life-or-death crisis of the shrinkage, what you face next is the total collapse of human civilization and order. Nations, militaries, and police forces will vanish in the blink of an eye. No amount of power or wealth means anything when you're just 1.7 centimeters tall. Nuclear warheads, aircraft carriers, tanks, weapons that once decided the fate of nations, all become useless hunks of metal that you can't even reach the switches for, stripped of all their power and deterrence. The city's water, electricity, and gas systems will completely fail. Burst water pipes will unleash floods that can destroy your shelter. Leaking gas can trigger an explosion at any moment, incinerating your entire neighborhood to ash. The power grid goes down completely, and the whole world is plunged into endless darkness after sunset. You'll band together with the surviving neighbors around you, building a temporary shelter in the cracks of the floor. The kitchen that was once a few steps away now becomes a deadly desert kilometers across. And a single crumb on the floor is enough to feed a dozen of you for an entire day. The civilized order humanity built over thousands of years is completely wiped out in just 24 hours. You survived the chaotic first day, so you think the worst is over? Think again. The real nightmare is just beginning. Your home refrigerator shuts down completely, and all the food inside rots and spoils, releasing toxic gases that turn your entire room into a death trap. The stockpiled food in supermarkets is either ransacked by swarms of rats or covered in mold and mildew, leaving no safe, edible food to be found. The power grid remains completely down, and every electronic device becomes a useless hunk of plastic. The internet, global positioning system, and global communication networks are all gone forever. You'll never be able to reach another survivor anywhere else in the world again. The cockroaches you once swatted without a thought are now predators more ferocious than tigers. A single charge from one can leave you critically injured. Rats rampage through rooms, every footstep hitting like an earthquake that knocks you off your feet. None of the modern technology you once prided yourself on can help you fight off these natural enemies. The modern civilization we depend on for survival collapses into complete ruins in just 7 days. A month passes, and you're finally forced to face a brutal, unshakable truth. Humanity has fallen from the apex predator of Earth, all the way down to the lower middle rungs of the food chain. Your pet cat, once your cuddly companion that curled up with you, is now an apex hunter that can bite you clean in half with a single snap. One flick of its tail can send you flying dozens of meters, smashing you to pieces on impact. The crows you once waved away with a single hand now dive from the sky like fighter jets, snatching you up with pinpoint accuracy to make you their next meal. Even swarms of ants can surround you, stripping you down to nothing but a skeleton in just a few minutes. Cities have completely transformed into wild jungles. Weeds grow rampant in the cracks of skyscrapers. Asphalt roads are completely covered in vines, and sewers have become the deadliest hunting grounds. You and your fellow survivors are forced to hide in solid cracks in the walls, too afraid to go out during the day, only sneaking out to find food in the dead of night, scrounging to survive like rats in a world that once belonged to us. It took humanity millions of years to climb to the top of the food chain. It took just 30 days to fall right back to where we started. A full year passes, and if you're still alive, you've left your identity as a modern human completely behind. You and the survivors around you have formed a permanent tribe, choosing the sturdiest cracks in the walls as your permanent settlement. You've learned to craft hunting spears from the blades of discarded nail clippers, defensive shields from metal bottle caps, water pipelines from plastic straws, and reliable fire-starting tools from the parts of lighters. You've learned to tame ladybugs to help you fight off harmful aphids, slow-moving snails to use as mounts for long journeys, and even to craft traps from tough spider silk to catch small insects for food. You've created brand new tribal rules with clear roles for everyone. Hunters to venture out and hunt, foragers to find food, craftspeople to make tools, and sentries to guard the settlement. Your former education, wealth, and social status mean absolutely nothing. The only currency that matters is the skills that help your tribe survive. You're no longer afraid of a lone cockroach. Instead, you lead your tribe's hunters on a group hunt to take it down, turning it into food for the entire tribe for days. The humans who have survived are no longer the modern humans we once knew. 10 years pass in the blink of an eye. The shrinkage disaster that changed the fate of all humanity has become the creation legend told by the new generation of humans. The children born after the shrinkage have never seen a cell phone, a car, or a skyscraper. From the day they're born, they know the world as a giant jungle of steel, concrete, and wild grass, and humanity is a species that survives here through wisdom and cooperation. The human body has also slowly adapted to its new size. Your reaction speed is several times faster than it once was. Your hearing and eyesight are incredibly sharp, and you can sense the approach of predators dozens of meters in advance. You've built a complete miniature civilization within the cracks of the walls. You have permanent farmland growing edible moss and fungi, dedicated breeding farms raising docile insects and small animals, your own writing and symbols to record survival skills and lessons, and even trade and alliances between tribes to stand together against large predators. Humanity is no longer the master of the earth, but an equal member of all species, forging a brand new balance with the planet's entire ecosystem. This disaster that seemed destined to wipe out humanity ultimately rewrote the entire course of human civilization. At the end of the day, this thought experiment teaches us this: humanity never rose to the top of Earth's ecosystem because of our size. We got here because of our intelligence, our ability to work together, and the adaptability that's hardwired into our very being. Even if we shrink 100 times in size, even if we lose every advantage of modern civilization, as long as humanity's ability to think and work together remains, we will always find a way to survive, even in the most hopeless of situations. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a big like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of our mind-bending thought experiments. I'm curious, if it were you, Would you survive the first day in the shrunken world? What's the one thing you'd want to bring with you into this tiny world? Drop your answer in the comments section down below. In our next episode, we're diving into an even wilder thought experiment. What would happen if every human on Earth gained the ability to fly freely, overnight? We'll see you then.